Welcome to Empowerment in Illness, the podcast dedicated to navigating life with chronic illness and empowering each other to live our best lives. I'm Gwen, your host, and today we're diving into a deeply personal and often challenging topic: guilt and shame when family members sacrifice their lives to support us because of our chronic illness. This is an emotional journey that many of us face, and it's important to acknowledge and address these feelings to move forward in a positive and healthy manner. To start, let's define what it means by guilt and shame in this context. Guilt is feeling responsible or regretful for a perceived offense or wrong. Shame, on the other hand, is a feeling that one is inherently flawed or unworthy. These emotions can be intertwined and overwhelming. When we talk about family sacrifices, we're looking at ways our loved ones go above and beyond to support us through our chronic illness. This support can come in many forms: financial help, emotional support, physical care, and so much more. Each of these contributions, while incredibly generous and often essential, can leave us feeling a mix of gratitude and guilt. Imagine this: your husband drives you to every doctor's appointment, waits patiently in the lobby, and listens attentively to every medical update. Or maybe your child helps you with household chores, taking on extra responsibilities to lighten your load. These acts of love and support are immense, but they can often make us feel like we're taking something away from their lives. Let's talk about financial sacrifices first. Many of us know firsthand how expensive managing a chronic illness can be. Medical bills, medication, specialized equipment, and sometimes even modifications to our living spaces. These costs add up quickly. When family members step in to help cover these expenses, it can be a huge relief, but at the same time, it's natural to worry about financial strains it puts on them. For example, maybe your partner has picked up extra hours at work to make sure you can afford the best care. While you're incredibly grateful, you may also feel guilty that they're working so hard. It's a tough balance between feeling thankful and feeling like a burden. Next, let's look at the emotional sacrifices. Chronic illnesses can be a roller coaster of emotions, and our family often ride that roller coaster with us. They worry about our health, cheer us on during good days, and comfort us during those tough ones. This emotional labor is significant and can sometimes take a toll on their mental health. Think about those late night conversations where your best friend stays up with you, talking through your fears and frustrations, or those moments when your spouse holds you while you cry because the pain is too much. Their emotional investment is profound, and while it brings you comfort, it can also bring a sense of guilt knowing they share in your pain. Physical care is another big area of sacrifice. For some of us, our family members might help with daily tasks like cooking, cleaning, or even personal care. This can be especially true for those of us with mobility issues or severe fatigue. Having someone stepping in to assist with these tasks can be life-changing, but it can also make us feel dependent and guilty for taking up so much of their time and energy. Then there's the impact on family dynamics and future plans. Sometimes family members might put their dreams on hold to support us. A sibling might delay going to college, or a parent might take early retirement to become a full-time caregiver. These are huge sacrifices that can weigh heavily on our mind. As you know, my daughter and husband gave their perspective during the episode Strength Through Support, A Family Journey. After listening to the episodes, I felt overwhelmed with guilt and shame. I didn't realize the toll my illnesses had on my family. How could I have been so naive? Was I blind because I was in the middle of the storm? My heart dropped when Maddie said she would go to her room and cry in her pillow. I thought I did everything to make her life normal. When breast cancer came, I knew I couldn't shield it from her, but I thought we discussed it and was honest about it. She said she was trying to be a good soldier. My husband said he knew what I was going through was bigger than anything he ever dealt with. Some of those struggles were very hard. He said he sacrificed his life for me. Has he been trying to be a good soldier too? How do you live with that? Are there other family members who feel they made sacrifices for me? Am I a burden to them? Have they been hiding their feelings trying to be a good soldier? After I was diagnosed with lupus and got back on my feet, my mom moved in with me. I was still trying to find a balance and get lupus under control. I had lupus for 3 years before I met my husband and had a bilateral hip replacement. I mentioned before how my mom supported me during one of the darkest times of my life. I am deeply appreciative, but did I change her life because she took care of me and made sacrifices? Some of you will say I'm truly loved by my family, and yes, this is true. I've always felt blessed and loved because I know my family is my biggest supporter. Why do I feel so guilty now? It's not like I can control lupus or breast cancer. I had no control of that. If you are a subscriber to this podcast, you know I feel as though this is my therapy session. I'm usually positive, but this hit me really hard. I felt the pain my family has endured because of lupus and breast cancer, and all of that is because of me. So we are dealing with guilt and shame. And what does all of this mean for people like us? It means recognizing and understanding these sacrifices are crucial. It's about balancing our appreciation with the guilt that inevitably comes up. It's about having honest conversations with our loved ones, acknowledging their efforts, and finding ways to support each other. It's okay to feel complex emotions. They're part of the human experience, especially when dealing with something as challenging as a chronic illness. By understanding the sacrifices our family make, we can better navigate our own feelings and work toward a healthier, more balanced relationship with those who support us. Now that we've talked about understanding family sacrifices, let's dig deeper into the root and guilt of shame. These feelings don't just appear out of nowhere. They have deep roots in our personal belief, societal expectation, and our desire for independence. We live in a world that highly values independence and self-sufficiency. From a young age, we're often taught to take care of ourselves, to stand on our own 2 feet. While these are valuable traits, they can also set us up for feeling inadequate when we need to rely on others. Imagine being told your whole life that you should be able to handle anything that comes your way. Now, suddenly, due to your chronic illness, you find yourself needing help with things you used to do on your own. It's natural to feel like you're falling short of those societal ideas. This disconnect can create a lot of guilt and shame. I was on the go before lupus and I met. I struggled with the shift in my life. I grieved that part of me for a long time. When I met my husband, I was still grieving, but he didn't waver when it came to lupus. We discussed how we felt and tried to deal with it as a team. I often felt guilty because we were limited on things we could do in our relationship. Personal beliefs are the internalized messages we carry about what it means to be strong, capable, and worthy. Many of us have internalized the idea that needing help is a sign of weakness. This belief can make it incredibly difficult to accept support without feeling guilty. This is where pride can rear its ugly head. It's okay to be vulnerable and ask for help. I've had moments where I felt the shame of needing assistance. There's this nagging voice that says, you should be able to do this. But chronic illness doesn't play by those rules. It's not about strength or weakness. It's about managing a health condition that requires support. The way we were raised can significantly impact how we view dependence and asking for help. If we grew up in a family where self-reliance was heavily emphasized, it might be harder for us to accept help now. Conversely, if we were always the caregivers, it can be a tough transition to the one being cared for. There's also the aspect of role reversal within the family. When children have to take care of their parents or siblings stepping in to become caregivers, it can feel like everyone's life plans are being disrupted. This role reversal can create a lot of emotional turmoil. This is a tough spot to be in because it adds another layer to our feelings of responsibility and guilt. Another factor is the desire to protect our loved ones from the pain of seeing us suffer. We often worry that our illness causes them stress and sadness. This protective instinct can lead to feeling of guilt, as we don't want to be the source of their worry or hardship. The fear of being a burden is deeply ingrained in many of us. We don't want to inconvenience or weigh down our loved ones. The thought of being a burden can be paralyzing, making us reluctant to ask for help that we need. Let's not forget that our families, more often than not, don't see us as burdens. They see us as loved ones who need support, and they're willing to give it. But it's hard to internalize that perspective when we're caught up in our own guilt and shame. Understanding the roots of these feelings is the first step toward addressing them. By recognizing where your guilt and shame comes from, societal expectations, personal beliefs, upbringing, role reversal, protective instincts, and fear of being a burden, we can begin to challenge these thoughts. Let's shift our focus to coping strategies. How can we manage these complex emotions and move toward a healthier, more balanced mindset? First up is open communication. This one is so crucial. Talking to your family about feelings can be incredibly freeing. It might feel daunting at first, but honest conversations can help clear up misunderstandings and build stronger connections. Imagine sitting down with your family and saying, "I've been feeling really guilty about all the help you're giving me. I worry that I'm taking away from your life." This kind of openness can lead to a heartfelt discussion where your family gets to share their own feelings too. You might find out that they don't see you as a burden at all. Rather, they see their support as a natural part of their love for you. Next, consider therapy and counseling. Professional help can be a game changer. A therapist can provide a safe space to explore your emotions and develop coping mechanisms. Family therapy can also be beneficial, offering a platform for everyone to express their feelings and improve communication. Therapists can help you unpack those deep-rooted beliefs and societal pressures that contribute to your guilt and shame. They can also guide you in developing healthier thought patterns and emotional responses. It's about giving yourself permission to seek help and understanding that it's okay to need support. Support groups are another fantastic resource. Connecting with others who share similar experiences can be incredibly validating. Whether it's an online forum or a local group, these communities offer a space to share your story and hear from others who truly understand what you're going through. Hearing stories from others who have navigated the same feelings can provide comfort and practical advice. It's a reminder that you're not alone and that there's a whole community of people who get it. Sharing tips and strategies can be empowering and can help you feel more equipped to handle your own situation. Setting boundaries is essential. It's important to establish clear limits on what you can and cannot do, and to communicate these boundaries with your family. This helps ensure that both you and your loved ones maintain a healthy balance of giving and receiving support. For example, you might say, "I really appreciate all the help, but I need some alone time each day to recharge." Setting boundaries can help prevent burnout for both you and your family. It's about finding that balance where everyone's needs are respected and met as best as possible. Self-compassion is another critical strategy. Being kind to yourself can make a world of difference. Remember, needing help doesn't diminish your worth or value. Practice speaking to yourself with the same kindness and understanding you offer a friend in your situation. One technique is to counter negative self-talk with positive affirmations. Instead of thinking I'm such a burden, try saying I'm doing the best I can and it's okay to need help. These small shifts in thinking can have a big impact on your emotional well-being. Let's also talk about reframing the narrative. Instead of viewing yourself as a burden, try to see the situation as a collaborative effort. Recognize the unique qualities and strengths you bring to your relationship. Your resilience, insights, and experiences enrich the lives of those around you. For example, maybe your illness has made you more empathetic and understanding, qualities that deeply benefit your relationship. Shifting your focus from what you take to what you give can help alleviate feelings of guilt and shame. Self-care is another pillar of coping. Manage your chronic illness effectively can reduce the level of support you need, which in turn can alleviate some feelings of guilt. Follow your treatment plan. Eat nutritious food, get regular exercises within your limits, and ensure you're getting enough rest. Taking care of yourself shows your family that you're doing your part to manage your condition, which can help ease some of the guilt. Engaging in hobbies and interests that brings you joy and fulfillment is also crucial. Not only does this improve your mental health, but it also demonstrates that your life is rich and meaningful, despite the challenges you face. Think about activities that lighten you up, whether it's painting, reading, gardening, or playing music, or dancing. Pursuing these passions can remind you and your family that you're more than your illness. You have a vibrant, multifaceted life that adds value to the world. Consider mindfulness and meditation practices. These can help you stay grounded and present, reducing anxiety and negative thought patterns. Techniques like deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, and guided imagery can be particularly helpful. Mindfulness can teach you to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment. It's about acknowledging your emotions but not letting them define you. This practice can create space between you and your guilt, allowing you to respond to your feelings with great compassion and clarity. Finally, embracing acceptance is key. Accepting your chronic illness and the support you need is a crucial step toward emotional well-being. This doesn't mean resigning yourself to a lesser life, but rather finding peace in your current situation and working toward the best possible future. Acceptance also involves recognizing that everyone needs help at times, and it's okay to lean on your family, just as you would support them if roles were reversed. They are there for you now. Remember, it's a journey. Coping with guilt and shame is not about eradicating these feelings overnight. It's about taking small, consistent steps toward understanding and managing them. By practicing these strategies, you can gradually build a more balanced and compassionate relationship with yourself and your loved ones. It's important to acknowledge and appreciate your family's effort genuinely. Expressing gratitude can strengthen your relationship and help mitigate feelings of guilt. Simple gestures like thank you notes, small gifts, or verbally expressing your appreciation can go a long way. Let your family know their support makes a significant difference in your life. I am very appreciative for my family and will continue to have open dialogues regarding my guilt and shame. I'm so happy we got to explore our feelings as a family. Now we can work on communicating better. Dealing with guilt and shame when your family sacrifices for your chronic illness is complex and emotional journey. But by understanding these feelings, communicating openly, seeking support, and practicing self-care, you can navigate this path with greater ease and compassion for yourself and your loved ones. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. Many others share similar experiences and emotion. Together, we can find strength and empowerment in our stories and support each other through the challenges of chronic illness. Before we leave, I would like to close with a special portion of the show I call Healing Heartbeats. This is where we allow ourselves to wallow in sorrow. Give yourselves 3 minutes to laugh, cry, scream, cuss, or just sit in silence. Whatever you need to do to feel it, do it. Let the depression in for only 3 minutes. Once you've reached 3 minutes, compartmentalize it and get back to living. This is a rinse and repeat behavior. You cannot let depression take over, because if it does, it won't let go. When we hear about the passing of someone, they have the day they were born and the day they passed away. There is a dash in the middle. It's not a long line, but a short dash. That dash represents your life. Go live in spite of having a chronic illness. Don't let it stop you. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Empowerment in Illness. If you found this discussion helpful, please share it with others who might benefit. And as always, feel free to reach out with your thoughts, questions, or story. Until next time, take care and be kind to yourself. Remember, you have the strength, the support, and the heart to continue your journey. Be safe.